Hey y'all, cleaning up, and I thought I'd yell at you today. I try to help you understand some stuff. Anyway, so y'all know I've been talking about slave descendants and how I just realized that all this time I've been trying to find out what happened to Khadijah. It ain't working. It's not working. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work because I'm calling myself black. And as long as I call myself black, I'm not going to get nowhere. I may need some potatoes and some onions. And I gotta clean my kitchen. And so I know y'all are really confused. But the people I'm really talking to are those scary slave descendants. That's what I'm talking to. I'm talking to the scary slave descendants. I'm talking to the old people. The old people that been running around telling young folk, and even when I was young, to call myself and ourselves black. Don't worry about it, boy. Check that black box. Because you black. And don't you cause no trouble. Well, that's wrong. It's all wrong. Because even though they sit up there and tell you, call yourself black, check that black box, they don't tell you nothing about your family, nothing about your their mama's mama, or their mama's mama, or their daddy's daddy, or the daddy's daddy. You understand? They don't tell you nothing about your history. They just say, call yourself black. Check that black box. Check that African American box. Why? Why? Why should we check that box? Because we black? Well, I'll give an example. As far as I know, Kamala Harris is black. She black. Look, she probably almost the color of me. She black. She black. She ain't no slave descendant. Her family didn't come from the struggle that our family came from. You understand? Do you understand the difference? Do you understand the difference? That's why she can play both sides. You understand? Because we sitting here calling ourselves black, and we not. Black is a color. Black is a thing. I can show you 10 black things in this kitchen right now that is black. You know, like Black Friday. They just had Black Friday last week. So what is black? Is black good or is black bad? Is it a good day or is it a bad day? Or is it a bad day to go try to get discounts that you think you're going to get? Because it's black. Black Friday? What is it? It's a good day or bad day. But it's a day. It's not a person. So anywho, run around calling ourselves black, and get nowhere. Telling our kids, and been telling our kids for generations, when the police pull you over, you better make sure you put your hands on that steering wheel. Make sure your hands is where they can see your hands. Instead of telling them, when the police pull you over, it's not because your hands are not on the steering wheel, it's because you black. Because you keep calling yourself black instead of calling yourself who you are, a descendant of the slaves that came here with chains around their throat. If that's who you are. Because, like somebody said, if you think I'm going to just tell you I'm going to just do stuff for black people, oh no. Well, she can't do nothing for black people. Because there ain't no such thing. Everybody has a category. On the census, they conveniently put us there as black. And if you notice, they also put African American. And if you notice in the small print across that form, it says, anyone that identifies themselves as black, American, or of African descent. No, black or of African descent. Do you understand? You get it? So right there in that little category, they're including Africans because it's convenient for them to include Africans on that line on the census. You understand? But when they want to give just plain old Africans resources and community resources for housing or whatever they need and whatever they want, then if you look, you'll see that they only put the word African. They only put the word African. And that's because it's convenient for them. But when they want to include everybody, like Kamala Harris said, they say black, and that means everybody. That means people that don't call themselves a slave descendant, which is who you are. Because you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Now, I know, and the other thing, like I said, let's go back to the old black folks. Sitting up here telling these kids to call themselves black. And don't tell them nothing about their family. Don't tell them nothing about, and they don't even realize it. That when they call themselves black, that's the harm. That's the harm being done. Now, there are black people. There's all kinds of black people that's glad to call themselves black that's in this country. And there's a reason for that. They wouldn't be over here sucking up the resources and say, oh, I'm going to call myself, I don't mind calling myself black if I can get this, and that. But here we are, dummies, too scared, scary-ass slave descendants, too scared to call ourselves slave descendants, which is who we are. But I'm not scared. Because from now on, everything I do, as far as identifying myself, I will be identified as a slave descendant. Because that's where my line of descent comes from. From the slaves that came over here, once again, with the chains around their throat, linked to one another. They didn't come over here with a backpack. Y'all like my sweater? It's Khadijah's sweater. It's not really mommy kind of sweater, but it's cool. Gotta keep doing stuff with it. But it's cute. Anywho, yeah, just trying to talk to y'all. Stop being so scared, all you scary ass, I'll take the ass word out. But all you scary slave descendants, call yourself who you are. slave descendant. Everybody else calling themselves who they are. Indians, Pakistanians, Asians, they all call themselves who they are. But we like to sit here and let these old ass people tell us what you got to do with slavery. Just call yourself black. Just call yourself black. Scared. But we'll sit there and go to a family reunion and everybody got t-shirts on and everybody's good say, oh, this is my family. Oh, he that's 4 generations right here. Da, da, da. But don't nobody want to identify with those 4 generations. You walk away from there and you go back out here and you call yourself black. And I tell you, really, little do you know, on the census, which I will post for you, it says that black and Negro is the same thing. So when y'all sit up there and say, don't call me the N-word, same thing. What's the difference? On the census, they have it in one of those chapters that Negro and black means the exact same thing. So when y'all, I'm talking to all you scary slave descendants, sat there and said, don't call us the N-word, take that off the census, 2010. That was just a few years ago. Actually, my grandma passed away, that was born in 1913. She passed away 3 years later. You understand? So anyway, don't let me get off topic. They said, don't call us the N-word. That offends me. Why? It still means the same thing as black. How do you spell that? Niger. It's 5 letters. How do you spell black? BLACK. 5 letters. What's the difference? When y'all told the census people to stop calling you the N-word, they said, okay. Them dummies. They don't want to be called the N-word. We'll stop calling them the N-word. No problem. We'll just put the one word there, black. And guess what? It ain't going to cost us nothing. It's not going to cost the United States nothing to change that category from the N-word to just plain old black. Because it's the same amount of letters. BLACK, 5 letters for black. NIGER, 5 letters for the N-word. Oh, just whatever. It didn't cost them nothing to have to change it, to put it there, because there was no extra letters. It didn't cost them nothing to put it there because there was no less letters than the same thing. So they just looked at you like the big dummies. They don't want to be called the N-word, so let's just call them black. They're so stupid they don't even realize it means the same thing. And if you look on the definition on the census report, I'm supposed to be looking up there in the camera, but I can't. I keep looking down at myself because I like looking at myself. Anywho, if you look at the definition on the census report, in fact, I wish I had printed it out. I can, but I did put it in link in one of my things where it says when I'm on my complaint and I'm showing you that I've been wasting my time filing a complaint, calling myself black. I did put the link there for the census. So if you go there, go to that page, go to that video and go in the description and you'll see, and pull that link up. And you'll see that on there those 2 words mean the same thing. So, and they're calling us stupid. They're laughing at us. When I filed that complaint to find out what happened to Khadijah, they are laughing at me, okay? Because they're like saying, man, leave this junk here for a few days or for a little while, and she'll go away. She'll go away. She up here calling herself black. She up here, she's just another black. And really, if you really think about it, Kamala Harris ain't even smart enough to realize that she calling people black, but she ain't talking about us. She ain't talking about me. I'm a slave descendant. She ain't talking about me. I'm a slave descendant. I know where my family came from. You understand? I know my family came from Bailey's Crossroads, Falls Church, Virginia, Lacey Boulevard. I know where my family came from. My mama's family came from Washington, D.C. I know where my family came from. Okay? So you can call whatever you want to call. And had I known better, okay, I'd have never been calling myself black because them old black people said, call yourself black. Just check the black box. And I used to be like, man, I'm proud to check the black box. I'm black and I'm proud. I'm black. Call myself black. Proud to call myself black. I had it all wrong. I had it all wrong. I had it all wrong. Anywho, I feel bad because I did the same thing with my kids. I told them to call themselves black. And I never told them why. And you know, I never told them anything about their family. Anytime I looked up something about the family history, it was just like a little private thing between me and my dad or me and my mom. And with my dad, he always let me record it. Record him talking back. With my mom, her family would have reunions. And we would go there all the time for years. But we walked away just like regular old black people. Just left a family reunion. And we didn't wake up and say, why are we calling ourselves black when we are slave descendants? We're descendants of these people, these old people that we just sat with. And they just sat there and told us our history. And we still just, you black. What you got to do with slavery, is what they say. And then you're like, oh, I ain't got nothing to do with slavery. That was back then. I ain't got nothing to do with slavery. That wasn't me. Do you know, and I'm just chit-chatting. I'm just talking. Okay. Do you know, and I know some people know about me. Do you know I can sew? I can make anything. Nobody taught me. Nobody taught me. I learned it on my own. But I didn't. I just talked to my mom a few days ago. And I said, Mom, you know, I got a sewing machine out of Grandma Elsie's basement a long time ago. And I taught myself how to sew. And she said to me, yeah, that sewing machine belonged to Grandma Elsie's mother. It was an old Singer. It folded down into the case, and then the door came up like this and closed. So the machine would drop down, and the door that laid down on its side, or you could prop it up and work on it, it would close. My mom said that sewing machine belonged to your grandmother's mother. I was sewing with that machine back in the 80s. No, back in the 70s. I never knew that that was my great grandma's sewing machine. And I was making clothes to perfection. I still do. I still can. Every stitch was perfect. Every cut was perfection. And I was doing it with a machine that was my grandma's mother's. And once again, I'll tell you, my Grandma Elsie, was born in 1913. So do you know how old that machine was? I didn't. But I was using it. So when you talk about what do somebody like me have to do with slavery, a lot. A lot. I never met my grandma's mother, but I could sew. I can sew. I can make anything. I don't care what it is. Underwear, swimsuit, socks, hats, lapels, welt pockets, linings, cuffs. I do it all. I never went to school for that. That's what I have to do with slavery. And my daughter, I never taught her how to sew. My daughter, my older daughter, Khadijah's sister, can take a piece of cloth and lay it on your body and cut it to perfection and put together whatever you want. It will fit you like a glove. I never taught her how to sew. And what does she have to do with slavery? A lot. So all you scary slave descendants, stop it. Stop it. Stop calling yourself black. Stop telling these kids out here calling themselves black. Stop telling them that. Because it's causing them to get murdered. It's causing them to get killed. Stop telling our kids to call themselves black. Our kids need to call themselves who they are. They are slave descendants. And tell them about their grandma's mom's mom. And tell them about their grandpa's pa. Tell them. Tell them who they are. Tell them they are descendants of great people. Great people. Great people. Great people who were lynched. Great people that came over here with chains on their throat. Great people that were bonded up and tied up with their knees up here with ropes around them and they couldn't move and tape over their mouth and they lay there. Tell them where they come from. Beautiful, 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 great people. So they will call themselves who they are and they won't get killed in the street. And people like Kamala Harris and others won't identify us. Oh, and don't let me forget about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. Okay? Won't identify us slave descendants as black. And we're not African. We're not black Africans. We're slave descendants. It's just really simple. Most, if you talk to an African that's over here in the United States, they come right out and tell you, I'm 100% African. They come right out and tell you, I am 100% African. Okay? Like in other words, insult to you, confused black person. You know nothing. But I know that I am 100% African. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I done vented. I could probably keep this camera on all day and vent and vent and vent. And I do. I mean, I don't put the camera on, but I vent. Okay? And like I said, stop listening. You young people, stop listening to these old black folks telling you, calling you black. And if they don't tell you about your family that you can be proud of, whether they were whatever, whether they were, I don't want to say hung and all that, but don't matter. They were beautiful. Find out about your family and be proud to call yourself who you are. Don't worry about nobody's feelings. Don't worry about them old black folks that keep telling you you black and you ain't got nothing to do with slavery. Because you do. A lot of things that you have within you, your skills, your knowledge, your ability to just be brilliant and amazing and extraordinary, comes from your descendants. I never knew how I could sew so well. But it's because of my grandma's mom. That's where it comes from. And I'm going to tell you too, my fight for Khadijah, oh boy, it's a long story behind that. I'm going to tell you real fast. Back in 1965. So, back in 1965, my grandma's parents were deceased. Right? And my grandma's aunts and uncles, their brother was, my grandma's aunts and uncle, my grandma's dad's siblings. They all had land. So since my grandmother's parents had passed, my grandma's dad's siblings, the Pinketts in Bailey's Crossroads, told my grandma, we're going to give you this lot, L-O-T, that belonged to your dad, and it's generational, this lot of land. And you better not let nobody take it. My grandma's aunts and uncles, 12 of them, and 2, 10 and 2, told my grandma Elsie, you better not let nobody take this land from you. And sure enough, here comes someone told my grandma, I'll build you a house on your land. And she said, okay. After he told her that he would build that house on her land, she said, okay. She said, I don't have money right now to pay you. He said, don't worry about it. You pay me later. So he built that house. And she gave him some money, $3,000, something like that. Because the house ended up costing maybe like $15,000 to build. Or maybe less than that. Back in 1965. But before she had a chance to agree to anything, he took her deed. Now mind you, whether grandma could read or not, he had her sign over her deed for $10. And my grandma fought that man from 1965 up until the day she died on her deathbed. She said, get my land back. Get our family's land back. Because her family had told her, don't you let nobody take this land. And in the court in Fairfax County, there are the case of my grandma filing pro se, fighting this man that took her land and had the nerve to take other siblings' land too and only lived like down the sidewalk. He didn't get up and move across the country. He just lived 4 houses down because he had stole so many lots from my grandmother's ancestors that he didn't have to go nowhere. He just moved into one of the lots. And he's still there today. His family's still sitting on my grandma's land right now as we speak. And my mom has continued my grandma's fight. And my mom ain't playing. You understand? And that's where my fight comes from. For the people. They killed my daughter. You had no right to take my daughter. But we're going to get those questions answered. Or not. Anyway, I get that fight from my grandma Elsie. My grandma Elsie, if you could read the documents that she put together to get this man to give her land back. And the sitting document sitting in the court, I'm going to tell you, once it's sitting in the court, it's sitting in the court. It's accessible. Anybody can read it. But my grandma fought that man from 1965 up until the day she died. You understand? I was amazed to see that. I was amazed at how a woman with no education would have the courage to stand up to a bully. Until the day she died. Whether she won or not, she obviously didn't win. But I'm going to tell you, when I read that complaint and those motions back and forth, just like I learned to sew, I didn't know where I got it from. Never knew. From my grandma's mom. And just like I am asking questions, because I need answers from the state of Florida as to what happened to Khadijah, my child. I get that from my grandma Elsie. Who knew? So when they ask you, I'm going to say it again, all you young people, and all you people, I'm 60, so all you people my age, when somebody asks you, what you got to do with slavery, you understand? You need to say, a lot. A lot. Don't let nobody shut you down. Y'all need to start representing. You don't have to. But don't let them scary ass slave descendants tell you you ain't got nothing to do with slavery. Anyway, bye y'all. I gotta figure out how to turn this off. I ain't getting no cleaning done. Everything's still a mess.